as almost always, there is a in the twilight, in this purple twilight, we see three auto wagons. On the front, there's a smaller one, which is obviously from dwarven design. It looks a bit, wasteland, Fallout-ish. Behind it is like a massive auto wagon made from magically fused and mended bones. And from that car, we can hear some kind of doom metal playing over the para radio. I imagine I'm wearing a Sun O t-shirt that nobody can see, unfortunately. I imagine it like a slow doom metal. The para radio picks up signals from the long ago, or the long ago, so it's not a current broadcast. Behind the wheel, there's a pale-looking, thin figure in like a rough tunic. He has this pale face, big dark eyes, and he's humming it's not really a melody. He's humming to the tune, and this is Vigo. And he turns around, and whoever sits next to him, might be Nida, he says, "This is nice." And from before Nida can react, we also see that next to the, if you look outside, there's a rough trail that these massive trucks follow, and the trail is the trail itself has these black glyphs that indicate where to go, which are really difficult to make out in the purple dark. And then the last car is the last auto wagon is also probably dwarven design, some metal plates fused together. But how does Nida react? And Puckett, remind us, how does Nida look like?
Nida is wearing, as always, like this cloak, and but for once, she actually has the hood of it down, so you can see that she has dark, sun-weathered skin. She's obviously not somebody who lives inside or has spent much time inside. And she has dark brown eyes and long black hair. And right now, she's just riding next to Vigo. Vigo's driving, and Vigo's just grooving on this power drone. And Nida, very slowly, is playing air drums, because it's like that doom, doom, tsh. So, like there's like, she's hitting like 3 beats a minute or whatever it is.
And still in the beat, obviously, because it's super slow. Vigo, you can also hear over the, the sound of the radio, his chains, which rattle whenever the truck goes over some kind of rough terrain, which is always. And then with them in the car, I think, is also Azure and Abe. How does it look like?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Can you describe Azure D?
Yes, Azure was formerly a very kind of lithe woman who wore very modern, like it's more mid-century modern type uniform, like outfit, which was blue vinyl and black, and she has this kind of teardrop shaped face covering. She still wears that, but she got corrupted, I think, from the biotech stuff, and as a result, she's like kind of hulking out, and she's becoming more and more buffed. It was kind of out of control, but now it's like in remission. So she had to upgrade her, like buy new armor, which is all kind of piecemeal Road Warrior now. Mm-hmm. It's like made up of, it's still the same kind of armor, but it's made up of like a mishmash of all these different types of, different colors and different styles and things like that. I would say that she probably looks more like physically, she looks more like China, the wrestler, than she used to.
Cool.
And that's about it.
And you both have pets. So Nida has a cat lord. Well, probably Ajax would phrase it differently. Ajax has a pet, which is Nida.
I'm a burden, and he graciously tolerates my existence.
And Azure has a biomechanical salamander called Cataract, which she uses to connect to machines. And then, because this, like normally the heat is really oppressive, but it is slightly more tolerable in the bone wagon. And so I imagine that all our heroes are crammed into the front of the bone auto wagon. So with Vigo, Nida, and Azure, there are also two other heroes. So there's Sarko. Nathan, could you describe Sarko? What do we see?
Yeah, I haven't fleshed out, too much, but just sort of the main impression or the main feature would just be the fact that they're like a jackal-headed human. So if you think sort of a classic like Anubis, black smooth skin type look, you would be correct.
And so Sarko is belongs to the purple folk, and let's see, you said they, so they identify as they them.
Oh, sorry, no, I just the habit, I male pronouns.
Okay, cool. And he is a machinist as a vocation. Is that also true?
Yeah.
So how would we, like, if this is like a television series, and the first shot obviously gives away the main function, let's say, how would that be seen on screen? Is it like an overall wearing that is oily, or is that too?
Sure, I think perhaps like sort of a jumpsuit or like a like a Venture Brothers styled speed suit, if you will, like a total coveralls type situation. But yeah, very greasy, oily. The thing that just popped into my head is it Willem Dafoe plays the gas station attendant in Existence? What he wears would be about right.
Cool. And we haven't really, because you have a very high intelligence, you can pick two other languages, but we can treat them as quantum languages that you just pick whenever you, whatever that comes up. All right. And next to Sarko, there's Van Liga. Keith, can you describe Van Liga?
Yeah, Von Liga is a wise Saltadorf prospector. I'm picturing very road-worn, very practical wear that's obviously been through a lot, but is maintained to the highest ability. Like, it's not threadbare. You're not going to show up at a formal function in it, but it looks good for what it is. He is very careful in all things. That's where he got his name from. And he has been traveling, looking for opportunities for his people in every sense of the word. Like, if it's a vein of minerals, that's awesome. If it's a favorable trade deal, that's awesome. And he comes from a storytelling group, so he always has something to say about something. And I'm picturing that came from the copper star incised with naughty limericks that he has, which I don't think is his personality, but it was like gifted to him as you're going out into the world. Take this with you, it'll show you the way. He's been trying to incorporate that into his personality. So there's like sort of half understood dirty jokes that I think maybe he says and everyone else laughs, and he's kind of like, yeah. Of course. Let's get back to business now.
Cool. And so Van Liga is tracking a missing ledger. So maybe because you're not super familiar with the setting, what I get from the book is that most dwarves, but could be different, function in some kind of Stalinist industrialist collective. So dwarves normally, I imagine this like, I don't know, like 80s Soviet industry, and then the people within the this industry, they're not focused on individualism, but rather on the collective. But I don't know if so. My question would be, why is Van Liga still in that mindset and is maybe looking for a missing ledger for the well-being of the collective, or is it some kind of private enterprise he's on?
It's definitely for the group. I think it's something along the lines of like someone in his work group made an error and like possibly something transgressive, but like they're not worried about why it's gone, but it's gone and you have to go find it. It's not because Van Liga did something that lost it, but because someone attached to him lost it, they kind of all lost it. It's like, well, you're the one who should go do this. You're obviously best suited for it. And it's kind of like he's the right hand that's going out and doing it, but the left hand might be at home doing something else and
awesome.
Working on a different project.
All right, cool. Love it. And let's see. And then we have not mentioned that Zarko is an anarchist. And he looks for clues. Can you talk a little bit about this?
Yeah. If it's not, I didn't know what anyone else's character concept was, so I had also taken one of those wire and bone biomechanical salamanders.
Cool.
And I'm thinking that somewhere closer to the Circle C, I came across some machine that comported some, or perhaps the first possible clue to how abmortality works on sort of a metaphysical level. And given that most folks have their moment on the mortal coil and then depart, but some get to stick around much longer. I'm thinking he's particularly miffed about like porcelain princes and the like, more than ultras, which are more of a force of nature, but them too. But the scales could stand to be evened a bit, and if abmortality could be perhaps flattened out so that everyone's on the same playing field, perhaps that would be better for sentiences.
So if you would find like the solution in quotation marks about abmortality, would you share it with everyone? Or would you make sure that people who are abmortal lose their skill?
I think that's perhaps a conflict for Sarko, that on the one hand, he's had enough of a proletarian job to know that, like, well, if everyone was suddenly immortal and everyone just kept having kids and all those kids were immortal too, I don't think we can keep that up forever. But the alternative, if you have the secret of immortality and your solution is to make sure that no one can ever have it and it doesn't work for anybody, that might seem suboptimal too. But for now, he's interested in, you got to start somewhere, and figuring out the way it works is where he'll be starting.
Awesome. Cool. So the three trucks are lumbering through this landscape, and let's see. The journey from where you started, which is the near moon, to the Spectrum Run.
Killed that car. The car.
The car elemental, and so it's a 2 weeks journey, and it's really slow going. It's hot. these black glyphs, Nida, how do they look like? So there's a trail of black glyphs that if you follow it, you reach the spectrum run.
It's interesting because you can tell who knows what they're doing out here and who doesn't, because the glyphs are UV reactive. So if you have UV headlamps in your vehicles, or you have UV lamps to shine on them, you'll see that they direct you to a path. Otherwise, they just look like these little obsidian fingers jutting out of the ground.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Nice. So I think, Packard, you're a little bit the, what's called the quartermaster for our caravan. So
Such as it is.
You would have to remove for the first week rations for, well, for the 5 of you, which is Vigo and the 4 heroes. And then there's...
Really quickly, Sarko, you don't need to carry your own Voyager supplies. The caravan takes care of the food.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. Okay, so I don't even need to worry about purchasing that kind of thing?
Nope.
Okay.
Not at this point.
Got it. I will amend.
So you've got that 20 coins back.
Yeah.
Then we have Umberto, who's probably driving the Redlander pickup truck that leads the caravan.
So we've got him, and then we also have, so there's the 4 of us plus Vigo plus Umberto, and then we picked up, who did we pick
up? You picked up
Austin's and Beth.
Austin's and Beth. Beth, the bull, and Austin's the scope.
Yeah.
I've added them to the character keeper.
So we're taking 8 supplies out, correct?
And plus, you do need like the
gas
auto wagons. Yeah, exactly.
So it's 2 weeks, correct?
Yeah, we do it the first week first. But if we have enough supplies, then you can do the 2 weeks in one go.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. So we've got 8, that's 16. Take 5 off of here, plus 1. Then we've got 1 here plus 3 vehicles times 2 weeks is 7. Got it.
Nice.
Those marrow beats are convenient, but damn, they're a pain in the ass to calculate.
That is true. Yeah, they're very compressed. And then let's, Keith, if you would roll what kind of misfortune the caravan came across, which is this is a D20 roll. So you do you have the link to roll for your party? You can also roll with the device if you want.
All right, so D20 for this.
Yes, and let's see. This is a bit odd. Normally you want to roll low, but we are interacting with the UVG at the moment. So you add your charisma modifier, which is 0, which is just a flat D20, and higher is better.
Well, that's unfortunate because I got a 2.
You got a 2. All right, so now it becomes interesting. After the first week, after the first week, you followed these black glyphs, and in the second week, there's also, additional to the glyphs, there are these crystal outcrops that stud the land. And these crystal outcrops, they burn in a prismatic fire. And they, for some reason, like the UVG lamp that you use to track the glyphs are completely washed out by the prismatic fire. So you lose D6 days in the second week. And so because it's getting a little bit crunchy, but because you have two slow trades and one fast trade, the last leg of the journey actually takes another week. Is that true? I haven't rolled the d6. Let's see. This is
honestly, it feels like, because we get a little hand wavy with the supplies and things like that. That would probably even us up from where we should be, because it's like, if it takes us 8 days, we don't necessarily deduct the day since everything's done by the week. So if you're okay with that, we could just call it a week, and that would probably square us up with the hand wavy stuff.
Nice. Okay, so you deducted the rations and the fuel, and so at the end of the week, at the end of the third week, the landscape changes a little bit again. So I mentioned these crystal outcroppings that burn in this prismatic fire, and in the third week, now we can see these gigantic vehicles from the long ago, and they do look suspiciously well preserved, but they are all stranded here. And what you can also see is these salt circles. So this is the grasslands. There's some kind of sparkly grass that grows between this corpses of vehicles. But there are also these weird patterns that seem to be formed by salts where the grass don't grow. And I think when we make camp, it will probably, because the sun is beating down, in the shadow of one of these gigantic machine corpses. So now we are at a destination, and the question is, do you want to look for a discovery, or do you want to travel on? So I think that Nida has made a proposition to the other heroes, which is to travel to the Three Sticks Lake area. And Nida and Austin's, they are looking for 3 missing caravans. But obviously that was in the last session. So now we have 2 new players, and I think we probably need to either agree or come up with a new plan. Is that okay with everyone to eventually go to 3 Sticks? Do you want to go now to not waste time, or do you want to look for discoveries? So maybe we see.
I'd kind of like to make sure Sarko gets like a complete story. So
okay.
Not getting Sarko stuck in the middle of something.
Honestly, with one session, I don't mind if it doesn't resolve. I've played plenty of resolution free things. I was just gonna ask, what destination are we at now?
You're at the Spectrum Run.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, my personal preference is not terribly strong. I'm down for just about anything.
I would put a vote in for searching, because I have a quest that involves searching in where there's old tech.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And I just search everywhere, so I've got no clues.
I think old tech is definitely appealing to Sarko on a professional level.
Yeah. I mean, there's these old gigantic machines that you can maybe look for parts. So neither that would mean that you lose a couple of days on your quest for.
Needed to resupply anyway.
Yeah. Well, that is a bit of a problem, because this is the wilderness. So doesn't really. It's not that obvious. Like if you're looking for fuel, you might have to.
I thought you said we were at Spectrum Run.
Well, it's called the Spectrum Run, but this is the wilderness. I think you might thinking of the Spectrum Palace, which is a major destination.
This is kind of like a biome, I think, right?
Yeah, it is a landscape. It is wilderness. So what do? You can also forage if you're really low on supplies, which it looks like you are. You can forage for supplies.
What is our supplies currently at? I'm looking here.
That would be on the caravan tab, and we're actually okay-ish with supplies because of the marrow beets. But also, I deducted 3 weeks worth of supplies.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, maybe we should go a bit into the details. So I rolled a 3. So let me actually calculate this. This will roll over for the next part of the journey. But now we have. So -2 + 1 is -1, and the 3 is -4. So actually, it's not a whole week. What you should do is subtract the 2 weeks, and I just make a note that we have accrued 4 days, and they will come into play for the next part of the journey.
okay, so we're going from near moon to Spectrum Run, correct?
Yes.
It says 1 week on the trail. So I should have only deducted 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay. Right, putting a week back. That is 2 marrow beets. I'll just mumble to myself and get off.
That is cool. So maybe to tell the story while Puckett is calculating. The caravan, the heroes met a marksman called Ostens, and he's part of the Legion of the Far Side, which is a group of, I want to call them vigilantes. Puckett may disagree that, take care. Puckett, you're always in your right to correct me.
I would hesitate to call us vigilantes. We're more like a communal safety, or like road safety organization, like AAA, but with guns. And we remove harassing elements to make things safer for travelers. It's organized, but it's not necessarily authorized. But what is these days?
And so Ostens is a scope, which is like a member of the organization that is on the road, like a sheriff maybe. And he told the caravan that there are 3 caravans who had been missing lately in the Three Sticks Lake area, which is it is a dangerous area, and it's it's not totally out of the ordinary. It's just that these 3 caravans disappeared in a relatively short amount of time. So that's why they Ostens asked if Nida would join him, and Nida said yes. But obviously, it's up for the group to decide if this is your next step.
And since we're in kind of a wilderness and versus like near like a rest stop where there's folks, how does the discovery process work if it's not I haven't done that yet for generating your own leads.
Yeah, it's more or less you describe how you go about finding an interesting discovery, and based on that, we make a make a random roll. So if you say, for example, you climb on one of these machines and you look around, it would probably be like a wisdom check. If you, I don't know, try to deduct where from, I don't know,
Yeah,
from
I
the
gotcha.
landscape intelligence maybe.
For these old hulking machines, I think if they don't look too precarious, like, you know, setting foot on them might cause them to collapse. Sarko would be interested in popping in for a minute and seeing if any of their old, if any of them have something like a you know, a compass or a map or a navigation system that might indicate where they were going before they got stuck here, or where they had been if they just came back from someplace nearby.
Cool. So yeah, the machine that you are resting at seems to be like an old harvester machine. And it is this hulking, incredibly like 3 stories tall machine. And you don't think that they were necessarily on their way to somewhere. They were probably actually harvesting something at a time where something grew here. But what you can do is make maybe a wisdom check, which is rolling under your wisdom to see if you find something interesting.
All right, let me look here. Boop, boop. Wisdom is one of my lower ones, I think. Yeah. Let's see if I find anything interesting.
And let's see. And you're also a machinist, so that would give you an advantage on your roll. So you roll.
All right, so roll twice. Take lower.
Yes.
Oh, great. One of them's a 4, so that's under my 6.
So the first thing that you find is that there's still fuel in the tank. So you think as a machinist you could come up with some kind of what's it called? Like some kind of constructment, is that a word?
Like a siphon?
Yeah, a siphon to probably it will include you swallowing a little bit of fuel, but you could get a little bit of fuel, and you can also see that from the console of the harvester machine, which is pretty high up. You can, if you would roll a 1, 2, 3, 4. If you roll a d4, I tell you what discovery you make.
You bet. I get a 3.
1, 2, 3. Oh wow. So you see some kind of glowing on the horizon. It's pretty far away. It's a green glow. If you had like a looking glass or something, like what's it called, like a scope, you could maybe make out more, but it looks interesting. It's a green glow.
Okay. As the owner of a glowing green brick, this does intrigue me. I point it out to my comrades. Green glow over here.
Here, try this. And I show you the scope on my rifle.
Ah.
Which is a pretty sweet, like plasma rifle with this ornate scope.
This is a very long-range weapon.
Through the scope, you can see that it must be some kind of gigantic, because it's really far away. You reckon it's maybe 3 days of travel over like even rougher terrain, and it seems to be like a big green glowing crystal in the middle of what looks like a lake, maybe.
Okay. I'm certainly interested in checking out strange formations.
Mm-hmm. What does the rest say?
What else is around by the lake?
Yeah, it's difficult to make out. So doesn't seem to be any kind of artificial structures. Maybe you can see some grazing gazelles.
Seems like a long trip for a glow that you've already got with you.
You know, this fits in the palm of my hand. That one looks quite a bit bigger.
And maybe there's a missing ledger there. Who knows?
I mean, right now it could be anywhere. That's sort of like, first I'm going to look here. Oh, actually, I guess this is a good question. Is that on the way to the Three Sticks, or is that what we're looking at?
So it would be to the north. So yeah, it is roughly in the direction of the Three Sticks. It wouldn't follow the glyphs though. So let's see, is that true? So there's also glyphs, as you know, that lead from the. So it's not on the trail, is what I'm trying to say. So the terrain is even rougher. So you would probably have to either travel back and forth, or cut, but travel at a lower velocity.
Can I roll to see if I notice anything else in the area? I mean,
Yes.
I am trained with the scope, so
Yeah.
I might see something that others don't.
Yeah, I assume that you climbed up as well to hand over the scope, and with your trained eye as a survivor, you might spot something that Sarko hasn't seen.
All right. Am I rolling with wisdom?
Yes, you do. And
Okay.
let's see.
And is it with advantage because of my vocation?
I mean, if you describe to me how being a survivor prepared you for, finding interesting things, why not?
Or I could use Legion of the Farsight because, I mean,
Yeah,
they're really focused on seeing anything interesting that you can see through the scopes.
that's true. Then you would have to describe how dexterity plays a role. So your vocation is on all your stats, and Legion is all only on dexterity. But maybe you climbed on an especially fragile outcropping of that machine or something.
Well, and part of this as well is being able to quickly move this rifle. I mean, this is a long gun. I mean, this gun is almost as long as Nida is tall. So there's some dexterity involved in being able to quickly reselect targets and reacquire targets. And that plays in because, it's hard to move this thing around if you don't know what you're doing.
Maybe it's fine detail that steadiness of hand reveals.
All right, so 2d20?
2d20, you roll it equal or under your dex.
There's a 2.
There is a 2. So
my dex is 11.
Because we already found 1, roll a d3 for me, please.
D3. Okay. That is a 2.
That is a 2. So what you see is a couple of towers. They're really slim, cylindrical towers painted in like a pastel tone. And my question to you is, what gives away that this is a satrap outpost? Like the satraps are known for their light magic, for example, for crystals.
Well, 1, there are crystals at the top of the towers. 2, there's some sort of weird shimmering hologram at the top of each tower. And it changes and it's morphing and it's difficult to make out at this range, but it doesn't appear to be random. It's not something that's automated.
So through the scope, you can see that these crystals that you spotted, they do look like crystal eyes. And that is like a day away, but it's a different, it's to the west.
And that crystal in the lake is to the north-ish?
Yes. So which is the roughly the direction of Three Sticks. But the advantage of the outpost is that it's following the trail to the west.
If time is a factor, that's I don't mind making the decision that way.
You could visit both. I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the plan?
I vote anywhere I can search for Violet.
you can search at both discoveries.
So we'll be able to search twice if we went to both of them?
Yes. Every destination gives you the same probability.
Got it.
But it sounds like it's going to be a full week to get to that crystal in the middle of the lake.
Right, because it would be there and back
Like
again.
3 days there, 3 days back.
Yeah. I mean, we could always start with the shorter trip.
Is searching the same as discovery?
Yeah. No. Searching is you would just make the flat 10% roll.
Oh, okay. So I could search here and it wouldn't be rolling on the dwindling D4 table.
No. It's like when you reach the discovery, so for example, the satrap outpost or the glowing crystal in the lake, when you get there, you just make your 10% roll and then you find something or you don't.
Okay.
You could also say, well, I want to look for more discoveries, and that then we look at the dwindling D2 roll.
We have enough players, we can get them all.
Uh-huh.
Does the satrap outpost look like they would have supplies there?
It looks weird. So there are these towers of different heights. Unless they have some kind of underground thing that you can't see, it's a bit of a stretch to assume that they have really a lot of supplies or any trading goods whatsoever. But maybe there is some kind of underground compound.
I mean, my gut check is let's go check out the towers and then check out the lake.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me.
Does that sound reasonable? Does that sound interesting to everybody?
Yep.
Yeah, I look at the towers are probably occupied. That seems like it gives me a better chance what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus the satraps. Well, I like the satraps. I'm still carrying a satraps memories. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. So just for shits and giggles, let's see what kind of creatures you come across on your journey to the towers. Let's see. Keith, can you please roll a D8?
Okay. Seven.
This is a 7. Okay, so when you reach the towers, there are these very slim towers, different heights in pastel tones. There is a woman that is leaving one of the towers through a door, which looks pretty much like like an elevator door or something that closes behind her, and she seems to be she moves her head back and laughs loudly. And next to the tower, there is what looks like a small army of completely motionless, I want to call them metal golems. And she looks in your direction, like in the direction of the trucks that are moving towards the tower. And she waves and turns back to her golems. What do you do?
Wave back.
She smiles.
And I smile. You know, I show both hands so that you can see that I'm not armed.
Yeah, you get out of the truck, I assume. Show both of your hands.
You know, and they're away from my body, so it's not, you know, just like, you know, this kind of standard traveler greeting of, I am not currently a threat to you.
Hmm. She doesn't seem to be bothered either way. She has sat down with her golems behind her. You can see that the golems are all armed.
Of course they are.
And she shouts over to you. Oh, a caravan. You want to trade? Buy? Sell?
All of the above, if possible.
It's just my kind of traveler. Come over here. I might have a cup of coffee for you.
You don't say. And I kind of gesture to Ajax. And I go and sit with her, and I assume Ajax kind of follows, probably annoyed and flipping his tail.
Mm-hmm. And you hear Ajax voice. I hope this is the good stuff. Can't stand the black oil that you folks seem to prefer.
Ajax, you know it's difficult to get good coffee out here. I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
Well, I can't even remember the last fish I ate. Must be at the behemoth shell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the last time before that was back at the Violet City, when you won that duel with those cybernetic rats.
Well, you could have just brought cat food in tins. You know that this is a thing.
And I look at the woman that I'm sitting across from and say, do you happen to have any fish?
She laughs. She has, she's a bit older. She has this kind of, what's it called? If you laugh a lot in your life, you
Smile
get this.
lines.
Yeah.
And she looks at Ajax and she says to him, unfortunately, I don't. But I do have a mean cat coffee. And there's she sits in her, in front of these golems, and she puts out a chekve, which is like this Greek style small pot that you put on a fire. And starts grinding the coffee, and she shouts over your shoulder, Nida, your friends are coming?
Yes, of course, please. Some coffee would be lovely.
Let me introduce myself. I'm Broken Jane. I'm traveling the grasslands to find a buyer for my really well-equipped and trained hollows. So if you're interested...
Broken Chain, you say? Are you affiliated with the organization?
Oh, I'm not. Broken Jane is my name.
Oh, Broken Jane. My misunderstanding. We were traveling with someone who is a member of the Broken Chain. And I'm sorry, my excitement got ahead of me.
No worries. And you are?
I'm called Nida.
I'm very pleased to know you. And then you exchange pleasantries. The coffee is boiling at some stage. She passes ridiculously small cups around.
Mm-hmm.
And so every time cat coffee, you all know, is some kind of mild, what's it called? Like a mild drug. So if your character is completely against drugs, that is cool. If you do take drugs for the first time, that is, you get experience points because drugs are cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up for new experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I'll drink it just to be polite. And did she set a cup in front of Ajax as well?
She did.
Okay, so I don't have to share mine with Ajax.
I thought she was offering it to Ajax first.
I just wanted to make sure. And I kind of get the feeling that she was laughing and offering it up to Ajax first as well.
Mm-hmm. She did.
And as I walk by Ajax, I want to say, we'll be at 3 Sticks soon. I'm sure there'll be fish.
So Ajax is only talking to Nida, and only Nida hears the answer. So what you hear is meow, and what Nida hears is, I hope by God that I will get my fish. And I'm not sure, Azure Ape, has Azure tried cat coffee before?
Not officially in the game ever.
Yeah, I think so neither. So it would be, let's see, it's, so you take the, you take a sip, it's really sweet. So she boiled the coffee, if that is the word, brewed the coffee, I guess, with some kind of honey, maybe. And let's see, what does cat coffee actually do? Is a narcotic made from black cat droppings. That is what you don't know. A pot induces sleep and restores 1d4 mental stat points. So first of all, you gain, let's see, d6 plus your, what is aura? Aura is probably, I want to say charisma. So does anyone have a charisma modifier? Charisma 10, 11, 9, and 11. No, I don't think so. So you all get, let's see, 1 times 10. Oh, so you get 10 XP, which is not really much. But what you feel is, it's almost as if you smoked some, I don't know, indica, I guess. You get really mellow, I want to say. Mellow and a bit sleepy.
So, Jane, tell me about these hollows that you're trying to trade for.
Well, these are basic, like, defense service golems. You can, if you have somebody who knows what they're doing, and she looks at Sako, it's almost like hiring, armed mercenaries. But they don't complain. You can just switch them off.
And how many do you have to trade for, and what are you looking to get?
But I'm not really interested in money. Let's see. What do you have to trade?
Okay. At this point, we have microwave wands, and we have the magic diving suits.
Oh, these will come handy.
I have a sneaky suspicion somebody would get mad if we tried to trade away the replacement human body.
That is hopefully on ice or something. Oh, no, not on ice, but it's fed regularly. Actually,
it's being maintained.
Remind me. I think next time we reduce rations, you have to reduce the one ration for the replacement body as well.
All right.
But anyways, she says, well, do you tell her what you have?
I mentioned the microwave wands and see how she responds to that.
How many do you have?
3 crates.
It's 3 crates. Well, I would sell you one of the hollow armored men for the 3 crates.
Out of character, what level are these hollow men?
2.
Level 2, huh? But we don't have to feed him. Hmm.
I mean,
Have you ever established what these microwave wands are actually worth?
we haven't. But I guess there are 3 crates of them are worth a hollow armored man.
Well,
What state
that's
do these? What state of repair are these hollow armed men in?
They do look as if she takes care of them. So they're oiled, and I mean, obviously, the sun is beating down, and there's sand and everything. But you know, from your trained eye, you would say there's not much maintenance that you have to perform.
Cool. And how armed are they, or how are they armed? Sorry.
So I think they all have. Doesn't say. I want to say they all have scavenger bolters, which is you know, like
Sure.
some kind of muskets.
I look at Sarko and say, "May my traveling companion inspect the golems, the hollows?"
Of course. Can I expect? Can I see the wands?
Oh, please. And I will. You know what? Umberto hasn't done anything for a while. Umberto can bring right over.
It will. So this is the first time Umberto is on screen today. So Umberto is a pretty dapper man in what looks like the uniform of a marching band or something. Is a saber at his side and a mustache. And brings over the crates. And Jane looks over them, tries one out. It does heat. They all seem to work. This is good stuff. So what do you say? And Sarko, if you want to find something like hidden or so, you would have to make a roll. But from, I want to say, because you're trained, they look good.
I'm spending my time doing the equivalent of whatever checking the golem's teeth is. probably examining their joints. Especially down by the ankle. You can't, you know, if these guys have been walking around, you can't really lie about how much walking they've been doing.
And you can see that when you do that, she nods approvingly, as if that is exactly what she would have done.
The respect among professionals. I see you know your golems.
Exactly.
I mean, I kind of would like. I mean, I'm interested in trading for these things, but I would really like to know more about it. So if you wanted to roll, I'm totally on board with that.
As long as we're not using them as scabs, I'm fine with it. Sarko has some unhappy memories of golems like these taking jobs away from hardworking purple folk.
This, I mean, honestly, this golem would basically come with us and probably just stand guard when we're all trying to sleep. We already have, we have a wicker golem that does something along those lines, but this seems like it's better able to defend.
Yeah, excuse me. The wicker golem is just a watcher. He would alert you, whereas these hollow-armed men, it seems as if you can program them to shoot on sight or something, which is obviously also dangerous.
Well, we could probably have them carry stuff if we needed to. Like if we were like all the time we spent at Lurid Pines, that we could have had them carrying crates of biomancy gear. So, yeah, this is in addition to the caravan, not a scab.
Oh yes, Sarko clarifies that's just a bit of jackal humor.
All right, so you strike a deal. Golems and crates of magic wands are exchanged. And she, she has some kind of what would you call it? Like a canopy? Is that a word? Like something to shield her.
like she's got a little tent set up.
Yeah, exactly. and she says, "Well, the cat coffee makes me sleepy.
Mhm.
If you want to deal with the satraps, give them a middle finger from me." And then she rolls over. You stand in front of the tower. There are these crystal eyes, and they seem to follow your movement. So when you're standing in front of the tower, they actually seem to observe you. And what appeared to be like an elevator door, once it's closed, it does look like a vertical mouth that will open, and it has a crystal bottom. So I assume somebody presses the button.
Yeah, we got to press it.
The mouth opens, and inside is like an elevator cabin, and it has like an old-fashioned crank, I think, that has just two positions, and it's the up position. And if you move that lever, the mouth closes, and you're moving down. And when the door opens again, you see a series of chambers, and it is definitely like satrap design, which means there's some ambient lighting. There are a couple of comfy sofas. It is less impressive than like a full-blown satrap settlement. So maybe there's a lava lamp or something. And there's a bored-looking satrap, so maybe for Keith. They're wearing what looks like a deep green spacesuit, like they have this bubble helmet, and there's something inside of the bubble helmet that is glowing. There's no face or anything, and he or they are sitting in front of some kind of metallic desk, hunched over what looks like a machine to read microfiche, and they put some microfiche under this microscope or whatever it is and check them, and then they turn around to you and they say, "Yes, how can I help?"
Oh, I think at this point, Van Leek is feeling the cat coffee. It's a little bit more open than maybe would have been before. Oh, I'm looking around for this ledger that we lost, but we don't have to talk about that now. I don't want to impose my narrative upon what you're doing over there.
Well, if I can help you with your missing ledger, I will. I might be of help, but this is not what we're here for.
What are you here for?
This is a very good question. Probably did something wrong that I have to be stationed here, but checking details and information processing, I would say. And how would I be of help to you other than finding lost stuff? And they look a bit bored/annoyed. So there seem to be some kind of greasing, I don't know, financially or emotionally to get them going.
What kind of information?
Make a D8 roll, please.
Five. Or excuse me. Yeah, I'm rolling magenta, so that's 5.
Oh my days. They turn around to you. I have all kinds of information. What kind of information do you need? Like, we are monitoring the grasslands pretty closely.
Lean over and say, "Ask about the ledger." Nudge, nudge.
I just smile and say, "Do you trade information?"
And they sigh and turn back. I know it sounds weird, but I do love my shadow puppetry. Like, if you, I mean, you look like humorous people. If you can conjure some kind of puppet theater slapstick show, I might get you just the information you need.
Kind of looking around like, is this a common request? How are other people reacting to that?
Look, I'm a yellow lander. Hardly anything surprises me. I'm just, that's not something that's necessary. I mean, setting it up isn't really within my skill set.
Doesn't have to be shadow puppets, like sock puppets would do.
I was gonna say I got this. And then we go.
Okay.
Then I'll head out to the. I head out to the. Say 1 moment, please. I head out to the caravan. I rummage around. I find some dirty socks. And some
Are they Vigo socks?
What's that?
Are they Vigo socks?
Yes, they are Vigo socks.
Make sure you wash your hands after you put your hands in them.
They're the only ones we got. Actually, I asked him, said, Vigo, give me your socks.
Yeah. Vigo was sleeping, obviously stoned out of his mind, and he says, "Yeah, you take whatever you want."
So then I go rooting around for gigas and some glue.
Mm-hmm.
And so find some yarn-like substance and some googly eyes, and I glue them onto the socks. And then I come back in, and then also a big piece of flat wood or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I come back in, and I'm like, Nida, Sarko, can you hold this? Can you hold this here for a second and give them the board?
Sure.
Then I get down on I crouch down behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and I put the socks up.
So your comrades are the stage.
Yeah, they're holding the stage up.
Mm-hmm. So the slapstick part. I mean, you can narrate it if you want. It's probably a lot of hitting.
Right.
But let's see how successful you play the slapstick part. What do you think? What is the stat you're rolling with?
Charisma, I would think, right?
Hmm.
Charisma.
Yeah, makes sense.
So okay, so as always, I forget. What do I roll? D20 under 11.
Yes, equal or under. And 11 is actually a critical success.
Okay, and this one is centrally internal F.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's the
Okay,
thing.
cool. I just wanted to make sure I had the right one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just missed.
So close.
Is there any kind of modifier or aid I can pull in on this one?
8 is not really part of the. So
I know.
you have. Go on.
Just as an idea,
Oh.
what if, because it's Sarko and I who are holding the stage, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What if I notice that something is starting to go just a little bit sideways, and I move the board just enough to kind of hide whatever it is that starts to go sideways? Like the puppet starts to fall off Azure's hands, and while she's pulling it back on underneath the board or like outside this little area, it's concealed.
Or perhaps we could go the other direction, and since it's slapstick and we're holding everything up, maybe, at a particular dramatic moment, we let everything drop in a comic.
Yeah, that is slapstick.
Like I don't have a role, so I'm picturing I'm watching it with our audience, and at one point I'm like, this is not slapstick enough, and I just come over and like whack the whole set over.
Excellent.
That is really excellent. Given that the difference is just 1 point, so instead of a 12, it would have been an 11. I want to give you the ability to roll for it. So it was a brilliant idea. So let's say, I don't know, this is probably some kind of luck, which is charisma, I think, if it works. So let's see. If you could make like an aiding charisma roll, Keith. Is a D20 and you want to get a 10 or lower?
Oh, it jumps all over. 9.
Ta-da! So it's not that the satrap is laughing their heads off, but you hear like you see a slight like vibration in the frequency of the light that comes from the bubble helmet, and they say, "This is quite amusing, I have to say." Well, so what is the information you are after? Is it still the ledger?
Kind of look around like, huh?
And they wave you towards the like the microfiche machine, and they say, you know, good luck with that. I'm not looking for it, but I'm looking the other way. And so while Van Liga is making the roll, looking for the missing ledger that might or might not be on the microfiche, Ida, do you have a question for them?
If I recall correctly, satraps don't much care for the porcelain princes, do you?
Is that a trick question? No, we don't. If you have any kind of information that would help us tip the scale.
Oh. Did you hear about what happened at the Porcelain Citadel?
Somebody stole a porcelain walker. I heard that. That was hilarious.
That was my colleague Hamish and I.
And
we made sure to blow up the broken line as we left, because I worked there for a week to get some kind of access. And it was one of the most appalling places I've ever seen in my life. So this is why I'm asking if you need information.
As I said, we're monitoring the grasslands pretty closely. I'm more in the business of, you know, dealing out information. And so if there's anything you need. By the way, Keith, have you made your roll, your 10% roll?
No, okay, that is the percentage.
Uh-huh.
Let's see here. 95.
Close.
Missed it by that much. Just need a little aid.
Are they granting permission for everyone looking through the microfiche? I assume no. I assume this is a one-user operation.
I think that while I think if you like, they are in the moment really busy. If you would just slide over and have a look, it doesn't seem to be, you know, looking too closely.
Okay. Does this strike Sarko as a situation where my wire and bone salamander could be of use to maybe speed up or more efficiently?
Definitely.
Control?
Like,
okay.
Yeah, you could connect the salamander to, you know, to search the data bank more quickly. So let's roll with advantage.
I think if you're showing like interest in it, I'm like, come over here. I do not know what I'm doing. Like, it's kind of
sure. I'll do what I can to
search for in the back, and I'm like, there's some smoke coming out. I'm like,
Did you mention what particular stat I'll be rolling under?
So do you? Is this a roll for your for the abnormal thing?
Oh yeah. That's what. So this is
okay.
A percent roll, or
it's just a percentage roll.
Okay.
But you would roll with advantage, which means you roll twice.
Got it. All right. Well, let's grab these here. Lower is better.
25%.
18, kind of close.
18 is a success.
Oh, it's not a 10% chance?
Is it? Let's say.
You said 25 just now.
I think it's 25 for if you have more than let's just double check because I did it's 20%. I think you made it. It's 20%.
Okay, 20%.
Yeah. Just looked it up. that have also like different parts to find.
Yeah. Okay. So each discovery has a 20% chance. Great.
Yeah. So I think what it is, I think it must be a file about the Porcelain Princess. Like they are abmortal in a certain
Yeah.
sense. And so that they had been studying how they do it, like how do they transfer their personality from body to body, and how do they splice it. Cool. And Azure.
I'll download it into the salamander. We'll say.
I'd like to take a stab at it to see if I can find the whereabouts of any vial parts.
Yeah. So you wouldn't find a vial part on the microfiche because that is a material thing, I would assume. But you could look at the vicinity, like in the vicinity of the maybe find an entrance to another tower or something.
Okay.
So I would assume that you're slinking around, like looking for these vial parts.
Yes.
So make your roll as well, 20%.
All right. Can I hook Cataract in as well?
Because for Zako, it was like searching a database, which I think is different from like physically searching the area. Unless you tell me how searching the database maybe helped you locating the thing.
Well, the idea is that I'd like to do like a rapid scan of all the data of the maps in the area. If they have any satellite photos, anything like any kind of detailed topographic maps that would give me any sort of like insight as to where more vial parts might be.
Mm-hmm. So because you're the third PC that moves over to the microfiche thing, searching the database. Nida, how do you keep the satrap entertained or distracted?
I'm asking for information about Three Sticks. And if the satrap knows anything about what's been going on there, and also talking to the satrap about Satrap 88 and showing them Crystal Snail containing some of Satrap 88's memories that I'm trying to get back to.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like mentioning another satrap will pique their interest. So, Abe, why don't you make the roll with advantage?
What do you do with D100? You just roll 2d10?
Yeah, 2d10. And then the first is the 10 digit and the other one.
You can also click Funky Dice and it'll have a D100 option. Because otherwise it's going to sort them for you, so you're always going to roll lower.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So Funky Dice is the way to go.
So wait, where's this Funky Dice I've heard of?
It's just above the X card, rewind, pause, fast forward buttons. It's one of the checkboxes.
Ah, okay.
And that should change the dice options to a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, D3 and D24.
Oh. That's because I clicked the wrong checkbox. Okay. D100. 84. And do you want me to keep the other one?
No, just roll twice.
Okay. $48. No go.
Next time.
That's fine. It's the long game.
Yeah. So the satrap says, well, Three Sticks is a very remote area. They have their own rules. There's not much trading going on. The Three Sticks itself are very interesting for the satraps as well, but the villagers there are very hostile, very inward facing, and they are warring between them as well.
Between themselves?
Yes, like there are 3 villages, maybe not at war, but definitely not. And actually, tell you something. The Jade Baobab, they're in cahoots with the princess. Tell you this. You
The
heard it
Jade
from me.
Alba.
The Jade Baobab. I'm not sure if I pronounce it correctly. Chat. Is this big tree?
Yeah, the big tree, baobab tree.
Baobab.
And they're in league with the princes, you say?
Yes. And I don't know if the other villagers care, but the other villagers care. But my guess is the most hospitable you would meet is the red bear.
Red bear. Interesting. So, I'm curious. We're rapidly turning into a smallish army here. And we're going to investigate disappearing caravans in that area. We could make a point of striking at the porcelain princes while we're at it, if anybody here would like to go along.
Is this something that you're proposing out loud, or just your thought process?
Oh, this is absolutely something I'm saying to the satrap, because he's bored with desk. They're bored with desk duty, and I'm basically saying, "Come with us. We'll let you shoot at some porcelain princes, or at least porcelain prince adjacent entities."
Well, I can't leave my post, but
well, surely there's something we can do about that. There must be someone here we could talk to.
If only. I'll tell you something. If you would strike some kind of deal, like if you could pass maybe a diplomatic note to Madame Red Star, I would be very grateful. That would even out the power structure towards a more equal playing field, let's say.
I'm more than happy to pass messages along.
And I think that is when Azure probably steps back from the microfiche, having not found the information, and they look a little bit skeptical, but then sit down and pull out a fountain pen and write down something in the satrap language, which I don't know. Maybe Sarko even can read. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good point. Are you for the languages? Was that?
I made a blog post about making a. I can just read it out. I think.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's the. Let's see here. I probably know Dwarven since you mentioned that they're Stalinist collectivists. In addition to common, and here I'll just roll a d10 for fun.
You can also say just satrap and that's it. Like, is it like prism, rainbow language or something?
I mean, it might be interesting if none of us speak it, so that it's basically in a kind of code we can't decipher and is utterly useless to us.
Also,
and the satrap knows that because there's no satraps with us.
Yeah, you can roll. I love rolling randomly.
Sure. For some reason, I know High Rainbow, so the very formal rainbow speech.
Yeah. Which could keep with common or something. I think it could give you like an advantage if you either speak with nobility or if you want to strike a deal with someone who's more learned.
Oh, actually, it says here that the porcelain. Okay, I'll say that the other language is steppe. Yeah, since that's what the porcelain princes speak.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And yeah, so we'll say dwarven steppe in common.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, so they passed the note on to you. So it is a really formal envelope that gives away that it is from the satraps. Nida, how does it look like?
It's sealed. It's an odd mixture of traditional and formal. It's sealed with wax. so that the sender knows it hasn't been opened. And there's a stamp in it. But above that stamp, if you tilt the envelope just so, you can see a hologram of the satrap who's sending it.
Cool. All right. I gather you leave then, or do you want to do something else?
Is there any place to trade inside this satrap compound underground?
Yes. So you can see that there are a couple of sects. They have very few provisions themselves. And the only other thing that they would be willing to trade is chitin caps. I just wrote that during the break. They have 3 sects, and you know that chitin caps go for 100. So it's not a very dense trading good.
So we can't really resupply for provisions here.
No. I do think, because we didn't, I forgot about it. I think Sarko, if you roll D3, how much fuel you got out of the harvester?
Sure. You bet. Oh, D3. Sorry, I was gonna picked up a D4 there. 3.
Nice. So that you wouldn't have to reduce it from the other provisions.
Okay. I think in that case, I'm just gonna take the envelope, smile, and say, I'll make sure this gets to Madame Red Star.
Yeah, and they nod and wave you away. All right, outside of the towers, what do you do? So you know at least of another place where there could be the ledger, or there could be vial parts, and then there's also the pressing matter of the vanished caravans and the weird power play of the 3 sticks. What do you do?
I thought we were headed to the crystal in the lake next.
Cool.
Yeah, that's fine by me, or we can adjust based on if it seems less likely that may be where others will find their clues and whatnot. Since Sarko just found one, I think he's happy to defer to others' needs.
Yeah, I think that the likelihood is the same, and the crystal could still be the entrance to some underground labyrinth or something. It was definitely big enough to hide something inside.
Plus, it's a lake, so there's fish for Ajax.
Well, yeah, exactly. All right, so let's see, how do we do that? It's another 3 days, and I haven't played it that way in the past, but because now I think provisions and so forth do make sense. We have 4 days that had been accrued from the last leg of the journey, and another.
I was going to say, I figure it's a week for the satrap compound as well as the crystal in the lake in terms of supplies, because it's 3 days there plus another 3 days to get back, plus the day at the compound.
So it would be another week to go there, and then you have no additional days anymore. Cool. So again, traveling is always like, it is super hot, even if the sun always only rises at 12:30 at noon, and before that, after dawn, there's just this violet glow. But still, even in the violet twilight, it is hot as hell. And your trucks, they are chugging along really slowly over the rough terrain. And when you arrive 3 days later at the crystal, it looks like that. The lake itself doesn't seem to be a lake with fish. There's some living stone pipes. Living stone is this stone that can be shaped in whatever form you want. And out of these pipes, there's like an oily liquid that runs into the lake. So the lake itself is made from oil. It's not water and then poisoned with oil. It's just pure oil. So you can assume that maybe there's some kind of tank underground. But in any case, in the middle of the lake, there is this gigantic, eerily glowing green crystal. And you can also see, at the shore of the lake, there is a herd of gazelles, maybe a dozen or so. And when the sun hits their eyes, you can see that they have gemstone eyes. So what do you do?
I forget who had the glowing brick. Was that Sarko?
I do. I have a glowing
Sarko.
brick.
How deep is this water?
I think it's about, you go, how do you check that?
Basically, can we wade to this crystal, or do we need a boat?
I think if you enter the lake, which is what I assume you're doing, then you can get about halfway to the crystal, and then the oily liquid goes up to your neck.
Do we know what this oily liquid is in the lake, since it's not water? Or is
oil.
it water mixed with oil?
Yeah, it is. It is oil.
Do we see any boats nearby or any docks?
No, I mean, you can probably move a little bit towards the center of the lake on these pipes, but they don't extend the whole way, maybe halfway or so.
If for some of the auto wagons that we have, if we have spare tires for any of those that have inner tubes, we could try to, inflate some of those, float across.
I want to say that all of them have spare tires. There's one spare tire on the pickup, and probably two each on the big trucks.
So we could probably, rig up something that way. It'd be a risk.
Could we send our golems down? They don't need to breathe.
Hey,
they just march.
Yeah,
love it.
What do you tell the golem?
How communicative are the golems if they find something? What can they tell us when they come back?
I mean, you're the machinist and programmer.
Yeah, I think you could try to run some kind of program that gives them a bit more ability. At the moment, they are not talkative at all. So what they do is they make a noise to acknowledge. The thing makes a noise to acknowledge that it understood, but it's not giving something back. If you program something,
cool. Yeah, I'd be down to try that.
So let's see. I would say that your machinist vocation comes into play anyways. You haven't picked slots yet, but I mean...
I wasn't totally sure what that meant, yeah. Oh, for my devices that I attune to, right?
Yes. So it could be... you could be attuned to some kind of golem coding instrument.
Would if I was attuned to anything, I feel like if the salamander is something I could attune to, that's probably what I would have chosen up to now. If that can pull this off, if it can like sort of attach to a golem, you know, a bit like a spinal parasite.
Then also you don't have to roll. I mean, you just use your attunement for today, and with that you write a program that. What is the program supposed to do?
Sure. Without like I would say,
if the scope is. I'm sorry. If the scope is really big, then I would make you roll or something. But
I guess it would just be sort of like reconnaissance, right? Like don't necessarily try to push anything that looks less obvious than I push this and a door opens. Anything more advanced than sort of a light switch, right? Don't mess with it.
Okay.
Go have a look around, come back and tell us. That sounds amenable to the group?
Definitely. Oh, for the group. Yeah, cool.
Fine by me.
So, how does it look like? Where do you connect the salamander, just for the visual bit?
Yeah, I kind of see it sort of stretch itself out, like it kind of attaches to the back, almost like a back tattoo, and it kind of like spreads itself out until you almost can't tell that it's not just like a thin layer of wire and bone kind of draped across the like trapezius. I think this is back here.
So it's kind of unfolds. Nice. Yeah, you can see that the eyes of the golem start to flicker, and then as soon as the program is activated, the eyes are glowing, indicating that the program is running. And it turns around and walks into the oily lake. At some stage, it disappears under the surface of the oil and resurfaces shortly thereafter. And it stands before this big crystal and walks around it, looking inside. And it's, let's see. Yeah, it's reconnaissance, if you will, and returns. How do you read out the information? Is it verbally, or is it some kind of recording, or is it some kind of hard drive or scan disk or something?
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe. Sorry, just looking at this little salamander's description.
I mean, Azure also has another salamander. Maybe you want to activate it to read the information out, or write another piece of program to, I don't know, do something.
Yeah,
if I'm attuned to it, maybe it can attach to me in some way and tell me things once we're in physical touch.
Oh, the salamander tells you stuff.
Yeah.
I like that. Sorry, Abe. I like that idea even more. So when the salamander detaches itself from the golem, it hops onto your shoulder, and then it sticks. Like, these salamanders are a bit distasteful in general. They have no respect for personal distance or something. It sticks its ear, its tongue into your ear, and then through the vibration of the tongue, it Morse codes you the information. It says, there is a staircase running down inside the crystal.
What was it that he said again?
That is a staircase that goes inside the crystal.
I don't speak Gollum very well.
So what do you do?
We need to drain the lake.
I think that the idea with the tires sounds completely doable.
You know what? We don't need to drain the lake because we have magic diving suits.
Oh,
That is
Good
true as
thinking.
well. But it's 2. You have 2 diving suits.
How about
All right.
the new guys? You guys are rookies. You get to do the heavy lifting.
Sarko's used to dirty, greasy work, so you know he didn't totally understand for a while why everyone was so upset about the idea of wading through oil. It's like, it's just another day.
Oh, that's just what I do.
Yeah.
Tuesday. Yeah.
So yeah, he's down to get dirty.
Cool. So these they're actually like hazmat suits, is what you would say, Sarko. They do look like turn of the century diving suits. So that they are made from this weird brass and leather constructions and so forth. And when you put them on, you can definitely breathe through tanks. And so you enter the lake. Obviously, you don't get any kind of visual information if you trust yourself that you still, move in the same direction. But at a certain point, the bottom of the lake rises again, and you do stand before the crystal, and you can see that there is some kind of ominous glow coming from the crystal, ominous glow.
Glow. Mm.
But there's also definitely inside. Let's see, is the crystal itself cracked? No. So a series of cracked and decayed staircases leading down. Some kind of crystal veins within the crystal.
Do we have a way to communicate between the diving suits?
I think you can just, it is possible to be heard. It's muffled. The voice is very muffled. But
I mean, if you put the helmets together and yell, yeah. I mean, the sound will conduct through the helmets.
We've got to be like tethered together or something too.
Right.
You can't see anything.
Yeah.
You don't want to wander off in the other direction and be like, Sarko's right here. Oh. So yeah, I'll lean over and down.
Well, how thick is it down here? Can we see? I mean,
the crystal itself, before you reach the so you have to I think like drill or smash through maybe half a meter, which is probably a foot or so of crystal substance.
But yeah, I give a thumbs up to going down for sure.
You're the mechanic. Let's make it happen.
Sure. What needs to make it happen?
Well, you have to somehow break through a feet of crystal. How do you do that?
Mm-hmm. Sure. I think I'll test like the brittleness of the crystal, right, to see like sort of what directions it's strong in, and try to find, crystals are usually strong one way and weak in another.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got my melee weapon is a battle stick, which I flavored as like a sort of a all-purpose hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like a ball peen style, so I'll just use the cone-shaped end and test.
Yeah. I mean, you're a prospector. That is what you do, testing substances. And I don't think that there's really any risk. The only risk is that it takes forever. But you find a spot near a vein that seems to be especially bristle.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, you find a spot near one of these veins within which the staircase is, or one of the staircases, that you think you could smash without a problem.
Okay. I pointed out to Van Liga, and if there's no concern, then I'm gonna go for it.
Mm-hmm. So you're still wearing your full suits with the helmets on and everything? Or have you taken them off?
We're still in the oil, right?
Yeah, I thought we were under the oil, or did we go down and then come back up?
Yeah. That is probably it was a bit misleading. So the lake is in the center. It's higher again.
Got it.
So you're outside of you're like, I don't know, like chest deep into the oil.
If it's not too awkward to move, and maybe just taking off the helmets and wearing the rest.
Cool. Okay, when you take your first blow, can you both make a charisma check, which is like a shorthand for luck?
So just roll under charisma.
Well, actually, yeah, roll under charisma.
So close, but I think nope.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 7 under an 11.
Nice. So, Van Liga, you get some of the crystal dust on your skin, and you get immediately like a rash or something. Can you make a saving throw to see how bad it is? Saving throw is ST on your character sheet, which is a 7 or something.
Is that roll under on a D20?
This is roll under on a D20. I know it's crazy, but
if it's useful at any point before or after, I do have curative snake oil as one of the things of my gear.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
That may become very useful.
Yeah.
No, I did not roll under.
Okay, so let's see. What does it say? Yeah, I think that you feel where the dust touched your skin. I think it's probably around your neck. You see that the skin is hardening, and it turns glass-like almost on the surface, at least.
Let's see. I've still got my gloves on from my suit, so I don't know if I would be trying to. Yeah, I think my instinct would be to try to wipe it off. So, does anything happen to the hands of the suit when it touches that?
No. So the suit seems to be completely protected from the dust, and you do get the worst part of the dust off your skin. There's still some kind of crystalline infection, you would say.
Is it painful or just strange?
It is strange. It's not necessarily painful. It's more like, as I said, like a rash.
Okay. I'm going to throw my helmet back on because Sarko's still hammering into this thing and making more dust.
Yeah, but so after, maybe a couple of minutes, you break through the crystalline vein, and you're now, you see this half-decayed staircase leading down. Back at the shore of the lake, so the gazelles, they seem to eye you with suspicion. Do you do anything about them, or something else?
Are they hostile?
No, they seem to be skittish and ready to flee at any rash movement.
I'm curious. Could Ajax communicate with them in any way?
If they are intelligent, yes. If they are just weird creatures with gemstone eyes, then no.
All right. I'm going to ask Ajax to go talk to them.
You want me what now? Do I talk to all the mouth breeders that we come across? Oh, look at that. There's a rabbit.
Ajax, they're over there. They look interesting. You know how curious I am. This isn't even the most ridiculous thing I've asked you to do.
No, the sad answer is it is not. And so
I mean,
he's
it's better than prairie dogs, right?
much better. And he walks slowly over to the gazelles, and they don't seem to be afraid of him. They seem to be afraid of you two. And one of them, what's it called? Like lowers their head to the cat, and there's this beautiful moment where their noses meet, and then you hear in your head, "Nope, completely dumb. They're stupid."
You could be a little nicer about it.
They have beautiful eyes. Probably
Don't
very
they, though?
tasty as well.
Ajax, gemstones are not tasty. You can't eat them. You'd break your teeth.
I know that. They have beautiful eyes regardless.
I look at Azure. You know I don't like killing things that don't need to be killed. I'm perfectly okay with letting them be because they're just grazing over there.
Why do we got to kill anything? They're not doing anything. If they attack us, we throw grenades at them, right?
I mean, you're not wrong, but I just look around to see if there's anything else in the area that looks interesting.
Like, if we weren't filthy rich, I'd say maybe we could, kill them and pry the gems out of their faces. But we've got so much money, It's like we wipe our butts with, credit sticks all day long,
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, it'd take more time to kill them and pry the gems out of their eyes than it's worth to us at this point.
That's why it's not worth it.
Yeah, their biggest worth for you is at the moment probably the meat. But if you're good on provisions, then. Anyways, back at the staircase, do you two go down on your own? Do you try to get the others over as well? What do you do?
I mean, I think we were sent over here to check it out on our own, so.
So you descend into the staircase, and after a couple of minutes, you see like a blue glow from down the stairs, and it's you've seen these probably before in your journey. They are what is called radiation ghosts. So they are like the fading imprint of some kind of personality that was probably destroyed by, I don't know, like a nuclear catastrophe or something. And I think that they are, let's see, they are there. It's just there are three of these translucent, glowing ghosts, and they, in unison, they wave you over deeper into the down the staircase without saying anything, and then they turn around and move even deeper. Do you follow?
What we know, would they generally be malevolent or anywhere around the spectrum? Like they might not necessarily mean us harm?
Sako, have you heard anything about radiation ghosts?
I mean, maybe if I've had a chance to work in some of the like old, whether or not Sarko knows what they are, like old nuclear reactors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Various Chernobyl-like sites.
Definitely, the Redlands have these.
Yeah.
And the purple, purple folk know about them. Yeah, radiation ghosts, they are, they can be malevolent or benevolent. It really depends on their personality before they died. They are not dangerous in itself, so they couldn't attack you, is what you know.
Do the forms of these ghosts, are they detailed enough that we can see like sort of their mode of dress or anything like that?
Yeah, they seem to be let's see. seem to be guardians of some kind. So like maybe a uniform.
Okay. I'm cautiously optimistic about it.
Following the ghosts, right? So the staircase ends in a big hall deep under the lake, and you can see like heaps of rust and flesh where some kind of biomechanical creature or creatures, actually several of them, once stood. And there doesn't seem to be another door or other staircase leading out of this hall, but there is a gate in the middle of the room. And the gate is surrounded by some kind of like Van Liga, what gives away that this is an unholy fire?
What color was the glow that we had seen before?
The glow of the crystal is green.
Are the radiation ghosts still around?
Yes, they stand beside the gate.
I think when they get close to the gate, it takes on the hue that they have.
Cool. Nice. So the flame gets this bluish hue. These three radiation ghosts hold sigil next to the gate that is warded by some unholy fire. What do? Like,
when we
how
say
do
gate,
you?
like portal Stargate type thing?
Yes, it's
Got
a portal, Stargate portal thing.
From my past experience with radiation ghosts, are they able to like converse or just sort of like silent gesture only?
Yeah, they sometimes they lead you to an interesting place, or sometimes they lead you into a trap. In this case, they seem to guard this somehow, but they're not really good at guarding.
I want to check out the biomechanical heap.
So you do think that the heap once was the Guardians.
Okay.
So there's like three heaps of some kind of golems, probably, who guarded this place.
Oh, and they became the ghosts?
Seems like it.
Anything useful or salvageable here?
I think make a luck roll, make a charisma roll to see if you can some parts maybe to repair.
Oh wow, 4 under 11. So
nice, cool. So I think you get like a sack full of replacement parts for repairing either the golem or the auto weapons.
Cool.
So Van Liga is kind of like hesitating as Sarko's going through all that stuff and is looking over at the portal. Just kind of, after clear hesitation, taps him, is like, my ledger could be through that portal. Just kind of floating it out there as an idea, like could we don't know where it is.
I kind of mull it over, and then I try to do maybe some sort of like pantomime interaction with the radiation ghosts, and I sort of try to be like, you know, did you all over there in that pile, did going through here, did that kill you, or?
I mean, I want to say, do you speak Ultra? No, you don't.
No, I don't. Definitely not.
Let's make a, I don't know, maybe a. I think it's really difficult to Communicate with gestures.
Yeah, easy to misunderstand.
Maybe a. What would it be? Even wisdom, probably something. Wisdom, charisma.
Yeah, and if I would understand it too, making sense to have like disadvantage just due to circumstance.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. So, what do you think? Is it more? It's not really charisma. I think it's a wisdom check, probably.
Okay. Let's see here.
At a disadvantage.
I don't think I'm particularly great at that. No. This will be
a disaster.
Oh no! I rolled a 1 and a 4 under my 6 wisdom. So somehow,
wow!
I don't know how I luck into some sort of like ancient gesture, right? Like the thumbs up means so many things, but some of the gestures I make just happen to line up with these ghosts.
Yeah. So there is. So what they do is they make like a series of gestures. And what they indicate is no, they didn't die passing through the gate. And they also indicate that they honor whoever, it seems to be a person of some kind, is behind the gate.
Okay. Well,
if Van Liege had made the roll, they would mention a ledger, but unfortunately.
Well, the gate itself doesn't seem unsafe, so I'm game if you are.
Oh, yeah. Just to be thorough.
There is this blue fire in front of it.
Okay. Oh, so like actual fire that you would have to deal with somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And that is how I read it. It's warding the gate, so... I mean, you could hope that your hazmat suits protect you.
Right. Since everything in here is a green glow, and I have a well, I don't know if it says what it is. Let's see. What does it say about the brick?
Yeah, I remember something about
a green brick with the light and warmth of a candle. So it is a glowing green brick. I just want to see if it's brighter here. I kind of pull it out of a pocket.
It is when you point it towards the fire. The fire seems to flicker a little bit, and the glow of the brick seems to be brighter.
Okay. I sort of experimentally try walking around the room and orienting the brick in different directions and closer and farther, see if I can understand any kind of interaction.
Yeah, it seems as if the flames move away from the brick. It's like a candle in the wind.
Okay.
And the brick is the wind.
Well, it's best I sort of experimentally try to set the it's only a brick size, right? So I kind of put it right up at the edge of the fire and just kind of poke it in with the end of a stick.
So the fire parts and leaves enough room for maybe one person squeezing through at a time.
Okay.
You can also see, if you look through the gate, you can see that behind the gate there seems to be some kind of room that can't be seen if you just walk around the gate.
I can stay here and make sure this brick doesn't move.
Are you saying that to me?
Yeah, I say that to Van.
This is the only person.
You could talk to both. Is the brick on the ground, or are you holding it in a very specific spot in the air?
I think the idea I had is that if the brick somehow blocks or interferes with this fire, that it's not big, but I can put it on the ground and kind of scoot it into the line of fire and make sort of a vertical channel.
Okay.
That's at least a little bit safer. So you're only getting licked at fire by the edges, hopefully. But we could both pass through one at a time. I was just thinking, if you wanted if Van Liege wants a spotlight moment, or we can both go through.
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking me to keep it in place. You're saying,
Oh no. Sarko is saying, yeah. Sarko is offering to like mind the brick to make sure that like when we come back, we're not faced with fire.
No, I got the opposite meaning of that.
Sorry about that.
No, yeah, totally into that. If you're like,
Cool.
don't move the brick, I'm like, okay, I really want to know what's going on over there.
Yeah. I'll stay here and make sure that these cats don't mess with it.
So Van Liga squeezes through the fire, is what I get?
Yes.
Okay, so you move sideways between the two columns of fire. And when you pass through the gate, on the other side there is a room where some kind of crystals grow from the floor and the ceiling. And in the middle of the room there is which looks like a sensory deprivation tank. It has some kind of mechanism to open it. There's also like a window. So the tank is made from some kind of, let's see, metal, I guess. Yes, a metal tank. And you can look through the small window. And it seems to be filled with some kind of liquid. You can also see that something big is swimming in the liquid.
Like swimming around inside?
No. Floating. Okay.
So it seems like someone is partaking in the sensory deprivation tank.
Yes, it's roughly humanoid in shape. It's what you can see through the window.
And the ghosts had said to Sarko that this is behind that gate is someone they honor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a tough call because, like, I want to meet this entity, but I also feel like it's pretty rude to be like, I know you were depriving yourself of sensory.
Well, a sensory deprivation tank is my way of telling you that it is like a, I don't know, torpedo-shaped metal thing filled with water.
So it's not necessarily the function; it's just that.
No, we don't know what it is. Maybe it's a sarcophagus, I guess is the pronunciation. Maybe it's some kind of cell, like in the Superman movies.
Is there an obvious mechanism to open it, or is it?
Yes. There are two handles made from leather-bound brass that you can use to lift it.
Can I still see Sarko from the gate, or are we like out of visual?
That is a good question. You can see the entrance to. You can see the gate from the other side, but you can't see through it. It's like you just see the flickering blue flames. Okay. Unless Sarko enters now as well.
When he goes through the gate, or when Van Liga goes through the gate, does he like disappear from view, or does it just like it looks like he's wandering around in a room?
No, he becomes a bit like I would say transparent and difficult to spot. So you can not really see deep into the chamber itself. So the further he goes, at some point he just disappears.
I'm gonna stay on this side just since that seems safer. Well, not for me, but just like I don't know, if help is needed, Sarko will go in. But for the moment, it seems like one person on each side seems like the way to go. A spotter, if you like.
I think at that point you have the feeling, Sarko, that the flames get a bit stronger.
Okay. As he's moving around in there.
As your bricks seem to get smaller as well. It's like ice that is. That's a very slow process.
Sure. I'll as I see that and then get a little bit concerned, I'll go through. I'll walk through the fire and I'll like pick up the brick to the best of my ability if it doesn't seem too hot, so that it doesn't get used up. If that's what's happening here.
Yes. And then you move backwards so that the flames close the gate.
So I'm on the other side that Van Liga is on, and I'll
go
through the gate as well. Yeah.
Okay. You step inside and the flames behind you close the gate again. So what do you say?
I'm like hunched over this, ready to grab the handles. Like, I guess I don't realize you're there because I kind of leaned back to say like I'm gonna open it, but you weren't visible, so I was like, whatever, here I go.
Yeah.
But you still have a moment to stop me if you think that it is a rash course of action.
No, if anything, I probably seem more interested. What do we find?
So Van Liga opens the tank.
Absolutely.
So when you open the tank, you can see that inside of the tank is this liquid. It doesn't look like water at all. It looks like, I don't know, like a rainbowy, oily water fluid. And inside, whenever it's semi-transparent, so you can see that there's, looks like a suit of armor. It's glistening brown metal, and it has sharp red crystals, and it is very ornate. So it's probably super old. It looks really valuable. But because the radiation ghosts told you about a person, you would also assume that something or someone is inside.
But we can't see evidence of that. It's like there's no openings to view a life form.
I think when you open the tank, let's see, how would the suit react? Not at all. So yeah, I think that there is like a visor on the helmet that you could probably try to move, but it's closed at the moment.
Do I know that Sarko is there yet?
I've piped up, like not to stop you or anything, but it's like, oh, what do we found? This looks ancient.
Yeah, come get a look. This must be the revered entity.
Something as old as this? I don't know. They might know something about what I'm curious about as well. Suspended animation like this or something like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I put my hand.
Whether or not this person knows it themselves, I bet there's technique information to be gathered.
So I kind of hover my hand over the visor, like.
Before we open it up, like I try a little bit of spit shine to see if it can be seen through or if it's opaque.
Yeah, I think that the visor is actually made from some kind of semi-transparent crystal, and if you spit on it and you rub it, you can also feel that because the body is bumping in and out of this liquid, that the liquid is somehow corrosive. So on your gloves, you can see that it's like a little bit of smoke rising.
Okay. Well, maybe we haul, if we're going to open this visor up, maybe we haul the armor completely out of the tank first.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Although it doesn't seem to be corrosive to the armor, just our things. So yes. I'm actually wondering if it's preserving the armor and if the air might be bad for it.
Okay, that's a good point.
I mean, I'm just wondering if it's like a reverse of what we're experiencing. I have no practical experience with it.
Yeah. So I would be willing to give a try, sort of like experimentally, to see what seems true, like what seems to corrode or something. I don't know if that's
just move it so one of the gauntlets comes out or something and see what happens.
Yeah, you do. This metal is glistening, so it's really polished and smooth, and it does not corrode when it is exposed to oxygen. So
Good, right?
Yeah, I mean, if there's any danger, I mean, just worried about like if we crack this open, is it going to be like a mummy that crumbles to dust? But I guess those are the risks you take. There doesn't seem to be any clear sort of like wake them up technology in the room, right?
No.
Okay.
Beside the crystal outgrowth, there's nothing to be seen here. So
Well, we're either doing something very good or very bad.
Yeah, I forgot to mention. If you look through this crystalline visor, you can see like an old withered face with closed eyes. It doesn't seem to be like decaying or anything, just old and a bit desecrated.
I mean, we came this far, right?
Yeah.
We gotta open that.
So you haul the suit out of the tank.
Yeah, I think that's
like half out, right? So that if it seems like it's going badly, like we can drop it back in, right? Yeah.
So if you move the upper body, let's say, out of the water and bring it to a sitting position, it just sits there slumped over and doesn't move.
Okay. Now, is there a visor on it, like a helmet? Or visor?
Yeah, it has a helmet on it, and it's like I want to say it's a visor in the sense that if you have like a wielding mask or something.
Yeah. I'm gonna fiddle around with it. Yeah, go ahead.
I say before we open it, we should try talking first. Like, have we actually tried to communicate? And I have my helmet on again after the glass skin incident. So I'm remembering how I talked to you when we were under the oil lake. So I kind of put my helmet next to it and summoning up my storytelling ability. Like they're talking about their great characters from the history of the lands, and the triumvirate speaks highly of you, and we wish to honor you as they do and drink from your knowledge, kind of thing. See what happens.
Yeah. There's no reaction.
All right, pop it open.
When you open do you open the helmet or the rest of the armor? What is the plan?
I feel
like do you take it out completely, or do you just open the helmet?
Does it look like the gauntlet could be removed?
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna like Sarko suggests starting there, because if it looks like the flesh is like getting corrupted or corroded, maybe you can stop it and it's just a hand.
Add a hand rather than a face.
Yeah.
So when you remove the gauntlet, I think you can see like one of the pinky is twitching a little bit, but it's the skin is not changing.
Good twitch or bad twitch? Who knows? Yeah, okay.
To be determined.
Once again, experimentally, that pinky that's exposed now, I'm just going to see what happens if it touches the liquid.
Oh,
just very gingerly.
Yeah, you feel a shudder to the whole body, and you can see that there's like a slight burn mark on the body.
Okay. So sure, then let's haul it the rest of the way out if it's gonna burn the flesh.
Okay, so now the whole suit of armor, and it's a beautiful piece of work, ornate and polished. It has this red crystals and the brown. The stylistically is not that different from, like, visually from your hazmat suit. So also a bit steampunkish. What do you do? Do you remove the whole thing?
I'm ready to give removing the helmet a try, if Van Liga is.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so when you open the helmet, the eyes obviously spring open, and the creature is like the person is a really old face, like a leathery old face. It takes a sharp breath. And Van Liga, Keith, can you roll a d8, please?
A 1.
A 1. She, let's see. Sure. Yeah, it is a woman. She grabs your arm, or tries to at least, and she gets up a little bit and she says, I need to tell the Free Will Coalition. I need to tell them now.
Does that meaning for Sarko? Or?
Yeah, have either of us heard of this?
Unlikely. Make an intelligent roll just to see. Just a straight intelligent roll. No advantage or disadvantage.
This is the one I'm pretty good at, so I'll probably fail. No, okay. 3 under my 17.
Nice.
I did fail.
So the Free Will Coalition must be from like long ago. Let's see, what historic period is it from? It is from the second expansion. So whatever she's talking about probably has happened, I don't know, like 10,000s of years ago.
Okay. Well, before we layer with that shock, you know, maybe we can encourage her to tell us, you know,
Mm-hmm.
whether or not she's willing.
She is. Yeah. She's really concerned, and she says, "They will destroy them. I know it. We need to stop them. I just need a body to possess." And you can see, I don't know, there's all of a sudden there's some kind of blue in her eyes. Like she had this dark brown eyes, and now the whole iris is turning blue as well. You need to find a body for me. This one is dying.
Okay. Is blue perhaps like a telltale color of like ultras or something?
I would say so. That there's definitely an ultra inside that body.
That's no good. At least as far as Sarko is concerned.
That doesn't help you with your quest.
Well, I mean, I guess it could be good. I don't know. Does our caravan have something like a body they could possess? I
They
feel
have.
like I heard someone mention a replacement body.
Yeah. There's a replacement body that Nyla is taking care of. That would be like. So she says, by the way, I'm sober. Not sober, sober do garoba. And you need to help me, please.
Are you strong enough to travel a short way, or would the body need to be brought to you?
A short way I can travel, just without the helmet. That the suit makes me sleepy.
We might need to put you back to sleep to carry you to our companions.
And she, she extends her hand again. Please, this is not a trick.
It's nothing quite as reassuring as someone telling you it's not a trick.
Everything's normal here. All above board. I'm trustworthy. Yeah, I mean, I think Sarko is still like fully, you know, in the conflicted stage between like all abmortals must be destroyed and we must learn from the abmortals so that we can become them. And that's a decision for the future. So for now, it's the learning stage. So he's in favor of, you know, we can bring this back to the caravan, this person, and as a group we can decide what happens next.
So you put the helmet on again?
Or perhaps we have them walk until the point where they need to put the helmet on, which would be to cross the oil, I think.
Yes.
I think maybe helmet sooner, just because of the suspicious I'm not going to hurt you. Like,
sure,
let's back in your state,
yeah,
and we'll haul you up.
Fair.
Okay.
Plus, that maybe we can spare her the shock of like getting out into the open and seeing what the current state of affairs is outside. Could be a bit much.
So, given that we are coming up on time, I think we fast forward a little bit. I think that you will be able to transport, you know, you pass through the gate again with the help of the brig, which is now maybe soap-sized, a bit smaller than before.
Yeah.
And you can carry, because in the oil the body will float a little bit. You can carry the suit of armor to the other side. And what do you do? Do you wake her up again when you reunite with Nida and Azure? What are you talking about? I mean, do you explain everything?
Yeah, I think we'd want to discuss it first. Like, if the body is being cared for by Nida, it would be very rude to be like,
yep.
It'd be like inviting your friend while they are there. You know, you can't say no because she's right here. You have to give her the bot. Like, give Nida a chance to explain herself.
So Vigo is with you, and Vigo has his goggles on. He has this like goggles with which he can see in the ghost field, and he says in his like hoarse voice, "We cannot allow this. This is an ultra. We need to kill it." Well, that is just the opinion of an NPC. What is the rest saying?
Which person is that?
So Vigo Brastich is the first like henchman that the caravan acquired back in the Violet City, and he is a ghost hunter.
Okay, got it. So their position makes sense. Yeah.
Seems like he should know his business here, but
wasn't that body going to be held for Saffron's mom, or no?
It was. That's why we acquired it and brought it with.
I think it's spoken for.
I was gone for a second. So, Nida, what did you say?
Azure said, wasn't that body being saved for Saffron's mom? And I said it was. One of our party is... They can transfer consciousness from body to body. But they are a machine entity. So it's basically transferring a program from one computer to another. This body was acquired and being saved for their mother while they tried to figure out whether a machine consciousness can inhabit an organic body.
Got it.
And Vigo, do your goggles tell you anything about whether this Ultra is malicious in intent? Or do you just assume that all Ultras are malicious?
Are they all, though? They're spiteful ghosts.
Why don't we stick it in Satrap 48? Will that work?
Satrap 48 is not with you, though.
Oh, no? Isn't...
I mean, they become friends with Hamish's character, but not to the point that they would join you.
Hmm.
Oh, I thought Satrap 48 was with Nida.
That would be Satrap 88, and Satrap 88. Well, they sort of died a while back, but I have their memories from that time, so their consciousness went back to the last,
Yeah,
back up.
it's just the memories of 88 that they acquired between the Violet City and the Mountain City.
So we can't stuff the ghost in there?
Oh, if you could. That is a good question. I mean, it's a ghost. You could try. You could try everything.
And then the question becomes, how do we get the ghost out while preserving Satrap's memories if it comes down to that?
We did
Because
that
we can't
with
just, we have to remember the ghost is in this crystal snail, and we can't just say, hey, Satrap 88, here's your memories. Oh, by the way, you may
You're
download
possessed.
with them.
Well, the thing is, like, we did that with Johnny 7, which I know it's a bit different with the ghost than it is with the AI brain, but we've got
you have a machinist with high intelligence,
and we have 2 salamanders.
True.
So could we juice it? Like, we connect both the wire and bone salamanders, and
you can always try.
what the hell? I mean, this isn't even half of the weirdest thing we've used this snail for.
Right?
It has been very utilitarian.
Yeah, it's like a jump drive or a sentient jump drive
with multi-purpose connectors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost like a Dixie flatline.
So the last scene of today is, I think, probably Sarko and Azure and the 2 salamanders crouching over Nida's crystal snail, trying to connect it to the suit or directly to the body, or how does it look like?
Well, Cataract is basically has, like, its tail as a USB cable. You know, so that hooks in somewhere. You know, I mean, maybe it's an all-purpose and it can switch up depending on what kind of port is available.
Yeah. My question is more: does it connect then to the suit or to the body? Because the body has no USB port.
Well, for Cataract, probably the suit.
You can also make it lick stuff or stick its tongue into orifices or, touch something or crawl inside. I mean, I remember that the last time you transferred something, one of the Cataract had the crystal snail in its mouth as one part of the connection.
Oh, right. So maybe we have both of the salamanders holding half of the snail, and then we see if we can boot it into Satrap 88.
As a quick question, sort of what's the, like, from an out of character perspective, what is the snail thing we're talking about? I'm just not familiar with it.
Yeah, it's all the satraps, they have some kind of parasite.
Okay.
And the parasite that the first player rolled was this crystal snail. And it has been used for different things, mainly to store information on it.
Okay. So the idea is just like using the snail as like one of the several components of trying to like move the Ultra into this other body.
Well, I think that is the idea. So with the problem being for the Ultra is that it wouldn't be conscious. It's not like the snail is more like an USB stick than a computer.
Oh, so we would move the Ultra into the snail itself?
Yes, I think that was the idea.
Okay, I see.
Do you want to try to wake the Ultra up for a second and let them know what the plan is?
Well, from an out of character perspective, y'all will be dealing with this problem going forward. So, if you want to choose what issues are looming for you,
I mean, I'd kind of rather they know going in. Because especially if they're going to be conscious in there, I don't want it to feel like they just got like they're a genie in a bottle.
Oh, yeah, we'll help you.
At us.
Oh, and wake up inside a Pokeball. Great.
So, I mean, we know what Vigo's position is.
Yeah.
Keith, you're with us for the rest for like 2 or 3 more sessions, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Abe, well, yeah, you bounce in and out, but are mostly in.
Yeah.
So, how do you think we should handle this?
I am super confused. So whatever choice you want to make sounds interesting to me.
Cool.
Okay, Abe, because you and I have both been through this before. So, what do you think about this?
Hold on 1 second.
And Sarko, as far as like destroying an Ultra goes, like that's not something that's super against his. That's more of a like, well, if it comes to that, then it comes to that.
That's one of the reasons why we have Vigo with us, actually.
But until then, maybe if there's information, if there's knowledge to be had, he'd like to take a shot at it first before we have to perform an exorcism or what have you.
Abe, you back?
I'm back. Yeah.
Okay.
So, sorry. I know that we're trying to get.
Do we want to wake the Ultra up to give them the choice of going in or dying?
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I mean, if it was do or die, I'd say no. But
because I mean, the thing is, at least this will preserve their consciousness until we can find a body for them.
So when you remove the helmet again, and Soba wakes up, Vigo takes like 2 steps back, and his hands goes to his pistol, but he doesn't touch it. And Soba says with a weak voice, "I will die. I need a body."
Sarko explains what we're able to do to the best of his ability.
Well,
we've got state-of-the-art technology that will help us transferring them.
Do you mention the fact that 10,000 of years have passed?
It might be a good time to mention that.
Well, do they get a look at? I imagine that the landscape may have changed.
Yeah.
So if this was a developed area.
Yeah, that is also true. But you know, it's the glowing light and looking out from the suit. I'm not sure she's aware of her surroundings. But if you mentioned, do you mention it?
I think maybe a long time has passed. Maybe not getting into the nitty gritty. Okay. It's been a while. You've been asleep for a long time.
So all is lost. What purpose is there anymore? You can't give me a new body?
We may be able to.
A snail body is a body. It's not a glamorous body.
It is not.
We would be storing your consciousness until we can find a body of some sort. It might be a machine body. It might be an organic body. We have actually done this before.
We're professionals.
Despicables, though the princes may be, they certainly know how to acquire replacement bodies.
So she looks from one person to the other, and then there's some kind of energy leaving her as if she's given up. And she says, "Well, if you promise me to wake me up, then so be it."
I promise I'll do everything I can to find you another body.